Hello and welcome to this podcast. I have with me a very good friend of mine and a professional that I worked with over the years, Dipti. Um, would you want to introduce yourself in detail, please?
Hi, Bunty. Your longtime friend, of course, to start with.
Yeah,
Um, all right. So, what do I say? Well, I'm a mother to a 6-year-old. I'm an artist. Um, I'm a crazy person, and that's how I and Bunty are friends. That aside, for work, what I do is I'm a marketing professional, and I work for an IT firm. I'm heading Southeast Asia and India regions, and we do some interesting and very innovative enterprise open source solutions. So yeah, I market those. That's a little bit about what I do.
wonderful. The topic I have thought for today is being lonely in a socially connected world.
Mm.
Um, this thought just struck me 2, 3 minutes back. I was uh, I was wondering about the journey of um, my journey in particular, obviously, because since I am bound by my experience, um, initially when we joined up on social media, connected with friends, we were very clear that there was friendship and there was an online way of also connecting with the same friends. Then slowly we realized the geography didn't matter anymore. We could connect better, and there were a lot of friends we connected with or colleagues we connected with, which we couldn't on a daily basis for any other reason. But off late, one is realizing, irrespective of the number of friends that we have, the sense of being alone is quite poignant. And uh, one does not really know who to share what with, and why is it that we feel that uh, anything worthy cannot be discussed. So, one, my first question would be, do you think it's a valid thing to talk about? And second, if yes, then why this kind of feeling comes up?
Um, well, yeah, I mean, of course, today we all live, like, I feel like we all live lonely but connected lives in some sense. But in the core of it all, we are by ourselves. We are still on the bed alone, tweeting, posting, talking. Um, and of course, it's not just the way relationships have evolved, it's also the circumstances. I mean, that's probably why we are all capsuled, and that's unhelpable for a while at least. So it's a very valid question, no doubt about it. But what would you like to hear from me? Because I don't know if this is something very pertinent to me. I think it's for all of us today, right? All of us are going through very similar
So the idea
phase.
of conversations that I try and strike with the guests always is more about personal experiences, because I think we are all good at gyan. We've read a lot, we've heard a lot. We ourselves are quite capable of communicating well. Many times I have a lot of friends being from advertising, like we are, we are very good at communicating what we think. But
Hmm.
I think somewhere we are afraid to personalize. And the idea of the podcast mainly is to personalize the little vulnerabilities that we have and how we use our inner strength to overcome them. We fail or succeed is a different ball game altogether and different discussion perhaps. But just the idea of, okay, what do you do if you have felt this sense of loneliness at any point? You need not go into detail about why or what. And I'm not, maybe the lockdown has magnified it, but it was coming for a while, is what I would think. That there
Yeah.
were times when you felt
Right.
like I understood you well, and suddenly when I met you in person, you turned out to be a completely different person
Yeah.
from your online persona.
Hmm.
That kind of made me afraid whether I could trust you. These are little things that have happened, and not really big things in terms of that we had a relationship of some kind where we were dependent on each other. Anyways, not necessarily a romantic one, but many times it's just friendship or colleagues of some kind. But suddenly, when you see that what you think is not the reality, it kind of, I think, shakes you a bit. So
Hmm.
I would want to know, has there been any episode in your life where you felt Yeah, to start the conversation where you felt lonely, I want to communicate something or just have a normal conversation about my everyday life, but I don't know who to call or who to reach out to because I have so many friends. But that's not the kind of rapport I have. Have you gone through this kind of thing, and what have you done to in that scenario actually?
Yeah, it is so it does strike such a chord because this happens definitely every other day, right? There's so many things that on your plate. I mean, as an individual, you're doing so many things. You're connected to so many people, and yet you're actually not connected to anybody at a deeper level. So you do realize that it's a very shallow. We all live very shallow lives, and I feel specifically be like with
Okay.
being where I am today, I feel like I have a team, for example, who's reporting into me. I mean, I don't know if they like me or not. Like I'm their boss, but fine. But you know what I'm saying? So these are the kind of people I'm trying to have a relationship with. I'm trying to have that, with them, but it sometimes doesn't work out. So, and if you look up, then you're looking up to another people, set of people who are at another level, and then they're again not going to connect with you. And if you look at friends today, I think everyone is so occupied in just the hustle bustle of things. You really don't have anyone who you can just pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I need to talk." So we all, I'm sure, face this loneliness problem. I definitely face it. One of my biggest stress busters is calling my best friend who lives in New York. But because the time difference is such, we don't connect as much. She's also occupied with her things. My sister lives there again, same reverse time zone, so we cannot connect as much. So you will not believe it. At the end of it, the person whom I really end up talking to is, my mom or my child. These are the two people I actually have connections with. And though it's a blabber conversation with a 5 or 6 year old, but those are satisfying conversations. So
There are two nice things that came up from that answer. Uh, one is a scary one. You said every other day one feels that, and I would relate to it. Not in terms of that one looks out. I have a fixed set of friends that I spend time with. It could be simply be sitting at a roadside tea shop and having chai and talking generally. Um, the second part that you said was that these other relationships that have developed, which where you are able to connect and they are more satisfying. I want to know: are you are you finding satisfaction in them because there's no choice, or is it really a sense of new discoveries? Oh, I didn't think of this, but this kind of satisfaction is coming in. Do you want to delve a bit on that, especially with your kid? Because if at least with your mother, there is a bonding, and generally mothers and daughters have a different kind of bonding, especially after they marry. So there is a lot of
yeah.
discussion that happen. But with your kid who's yet to see the world, what kind of satisfaction do you derive from it, and what is it that eases your mind at that point?
I think the naivety of the discussion itself, right? I can do the most basic talk with him, and it's still so endearing, which you can't do with a grown up, for example. And they're at a stage when, at this age, when they're 5 or 6, they're still having that vocabulary and they're catching up on how to speak to you and speak like an adult. Like sometimes you'll have this very teenager tantrums and like roll his eyes like that, and like so it is endearing in that sense itself. I mean, it sort of breaks, my boring day schedule into some fun moments, which I can keep in my head. I know he'll outgrow all this very soon. So I guess it's as basic as that, like just that, just that. Yeah.
So this is beautiful because I would want to delve a little on the content of this. So effectively, being intellectual people, we sitting on our laptops and our devices, and we are connecting with the rest of the world. We have clever things to say. We are good at repartees sometimes. We have all kinds of intellectual uh, ways of dealing with our loneliness and projecting something that may not necessarily be true, and yet being
True.
happy that we conned most of the people most of the time, kind of thing.
True.
I'm not trying to say that we are all depressed or anything. Obviously, like you mentioned in the beginning, there are roles to play and they keep
Hmm.
you occupied, and they are not necessarily boring roles. They have
Hmm.
their own engagements and they have their own good moments as well.
Right.
So, my question to you is, um, here we are with our intellectual prowess. Here is a 6-year-old with no understanding of how the world functions, perhaps, except the very basics. They seem to have a knowledge or have something that eases us. So is there a lesson to learn and relook at our loneliness in a manner which is more wholesome, perhaps?
Mm, certainly, yeah. Honestly, I always feel that, just as much as they learn from us, we learn from them, right?
Yeah.
This whole journey of parenting is even you are as a parent learning, and while
Uh,
you're trying to teach them. And there are times when he teaches me, and I'm like, wow, I didn't think of it in that sense, because they come with a very fresh perspective sometimes, very unbiased and as pure as what struck them, and uh, because we are so conditioned in certain ways when the way we live, we think of certain things only in certain ways, in certain angles, and sometimes they break that stereotype. I know any kid, actually, it's not just this kid, any kid. So, which is why I think, you know, uh, those those conversations have itself a very different angle and impact, so to say.
um, okay, there are two thoughts that are running in my head when you said what you did. One is the aspect of that they act as a thought breaker, if I were to use a term.
Hmm.
They break your chain of thoughts about how you see life or your day or your job at that particular moment because they've
Hmm.
interspersed it with their own innocent way of looking at the world or their requirement, which may be as simple as they want to have a cold drink or any simple thing which is not really earth shaking. That's
Hmm.
one part. The second is why is it so hard for us to become innocent like them?
Hmm. I think I almost touched upon it when I said that we've grown up with, obviously, all of us, while we are growing, we are getting conditioned in certain ways, right? Depending on what's our background like and what we've been told always. Uh, you know, then obviously the gender stereotypes also play in a role. You know, you're a woman and this is what women do, or you're a man and this is what a man is supposed to do. So I guess that conditioning changes the way we start thinking and looking at things, which I think a kid, we have not fed into his mind or her mind yet. So I guess that is where it's pure, because they really don't know. um, like, it's a very funny example, but I'll just tell you, like, very simple thing. Like, the other day he wanted something, and I said, no, I can't buy you that, I have no money. So I do that again and again with him. I say I have no money, So he thinks we are very poor. So he says, but we have so many wine bottles. Just sell them. We have enough money because we have small like a small bar full of wine bottles. So I was like, okay, like, I liked how he found a solution. In the simplest way, like without, like, you know what I mean. It did require a thought or an afterthought. It just came up. It was nice. It was funny. It was really laughed about it.